What is up, YouTube? I am calc'd74 here, bringing you our Week 4 battle of the PEBA. This week we are taking on Blind Messiah, coach of the Chimes gang. We are going into this game with a 2-1 record, while he is going into this game with a 1-2 record. Spoilers, we are coming off a loss from last week, and we are going to try and bounce it back. I really think I played really bad last week, so hopefully this week we will play a little bit better. Before we get into the video, I hope you guys noticed in the thumbnail there is a new logo. It was made by 2Bit Crow, so please go check him out. He's in the description below. He was the ex-commissioner of this league, and now he is just a part of the committee, and he is a coach. And the logo is like NFL inspired with Lugia in the middle. I think it's really cool. I like it a lot. Again, make sure to go check him out. But anyway, on to our matchup for the day. Our opponent here has an Arceus Ice. And in my opinion, looking back on it, I definitely maybe should have drafted this thing. This thing is absolutely busted offensively, and I just think Ice typing is one of the best types offensively. I mean, it is factually, but even in my own opinion, I think it is the best type offensively. So it's definitely something I have to watch out for. But anyway, for the rest of his team, I'm going to go over his team now. His team consists of Arceus Ice, Victini with Z-moves, Nidoking, Komodo with Z-moves, Florges, Milotic, Mega Aggron, Rotom-Mow, Gligar, Drampa, and Gothorita, and Commonium Z is banned, so you can't use that Z move. But what I expect him to bring consists of Arceus Ice, Victini, Nidoking, Florges, Milotic, and Mega Aggron. He could switch Florges out for Komodo or Drampa, because those two, especially Drampa, actually does kind of work against my team. But I'm pretty sold on at least 5 of those mons that he's going to bring. Now, when it comes to his team, Arceus Ice and Victini run house on my team. I do not have a switch in for these guys very much, so I deal with these guys a little more offensively, while the rest of his team I have different ways of dealing with, as I'll get into in the team builder. But again, Arceus Ice and Victini, at least if Victini's banded, switching in on it is just going to be borderline impossible. So that's what I have to look out for. But luckily he does have a slower team outside of those two, so speed creeping this week was a little bit easier. And basically that is his team, and now I'm going to go over my team. My team that I am bringing this week consists of Ash Greninja, Volcarona, Hippowdon, Tentacruel, Mega Diancie, and Rotom Frost. First off, we have Ash Greninja. Greninja is running Surf, Ice Beam, U-Turn, and Low Kick with the Expert Belt. Max Special Attack, 240 Speed with the Hasty Nature, and 16 in Attack. This Greninja is mainly here to revenge things this week, particularly the Victini, the Arceus Ice, the Nidoking, the Gligar, and the Gothorita are just some to name, and a lot of things if they are chipped. I do have to be careful because this thing cannot really touch Florges or Milotic whatsoever, so I have to be careful about that. Ice Beam is there for a lot of his team because he's fairly ice weak. Nidoking, Komodo, or just to name a few, and I can definitely take advantage of that. U-turn to pivot out, but again, it's mainly here just to revenge his very, very threatening Arceus Ice and Victini. I did want to put Water Shuriken on there just in case Scarf Victini became a problem, but I needed the low kick for the Arceus Ice, obviously, and the other moves were definitely necessary for the team this week. Next up, we have Volcarona. Volcarona is running Life Orb with Fiery Dance, Bug Buzz, Giga Drain, Psychic, Max Special Attack, Max Speed, and 4 in Defense with a Modest Nature. Thanks to Rotom being 86 speed, I can just outspeed Max Speed Rotom. Thus, I was able to put a Modest Nature on because everything else was faster. There's either Victini and Arceus Ice, and I wasn't outspeeding Arceus Ice, and I didn't want to bother speed creeping Victini just in case it was Scarf. But this nukes house on his team. This runs through almost everything on his team not named Milotic and not named Florges. And even Florges, if I get boosted, that thing becomes really scary against it. Because if I'm at +1, then Fiery Dance is like half to it. And he's not really hitting me back with Moonblast that hard. So it's going to look really good. Giga Drain does half to Milotic. I do have to be careful because Scald also does half to Volcarona. So there's that. And being outsped by Arceus Ice. And if Arceus Ice does have rock coverage, which it definitely could have, I do have to be careful of that. But if it does not have rock coverage, then I'm good to beat that as well. And then Victini, I can't really beat either. But Victini does not want to switch in on a Bug Buzz, so he's got to be very wary about that. This is mainly here just to break through his team, and then I can clean up with Greninja or any of my other mons, as I'll go through in a little bit. But that is what Volcarona is here for. I didn't want the Life Orb because of the extra damage and it getting chipped down quickly, but the extra damage output was just necessary. Next up, we have Hippowdon. Hippowdon's rocking Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Slack Off, and Whirlwind with a Rocky Helmet. 248 HP, 212 Defense with the Impish Nature, and 48 in Speed. I don't remember what this was speed creeping. I don't think it was actually speed creeping anything in particular, to be honest. But again, it's just really standard Hippowdon Stealth Rocks, because rocks hurt his main 2 big threats. Earthquake for a lot of things that I can take hits from, like Komodo and Nidoking, and even Victini if it's Scarf. This is my main Scarf Victini switch in, as I can actually take 2 V creates. If it's banded, I can't, and then that becomes a problem. But there's that. And it's also my Mega Aggron switching, because my Mega Aggron switching kind of was limited. So while Volcarona can handle that thing offensively, defensively I can handle it as well. And if Gotharita comes for whatever reason, if it traps me, I can just easily whirlwind it out. And that's kind of it. I can take hits from Gligar, but I can't really hit it back, especially if it's got Defog, then I can't even get my rocks up. And I decided with the Rocky Helmet because a lot of his physical attackers do have contact moves, like Komodo with like Close Combat and Outrage. You got Victini with Feet Create. Nidoking, if it's offensive, I've seen that recently. That could be a thing. I'll take Rocky Helmet damage and Mega Aggron. So the Rocky Helmet I thought was very necessary for the battle this week. Next up, we got Tentacruel. Tentacruel is rocking Scald, Sludge Wave, Toxic, and Haze. Black Sludge with Liquid Ooze, 240 HP, 252 Speed Def, and 8 in Speed, just for general speed creeping reasons. Tentacruel is here to deal with his defensive core, because offensively I kind of have a hard time with Florges and Milotic. Tentacruel walls those two, and especially Milotic, because I can just Toxic that thing and it gets whittled down. If it's Flame Orb, then it becomes a little bit easier to deal with, because it has, instead of passive recovery, it gets damage passively each turn. So that's what Tentacruel is here for. This is also here to take on Arceus Ice, believe it or not, because I expect like either a Calm Mindset or a just especially offensive with Rock Slide or something like that for Volcarona if he wants to do that. But he's going to have 3 moves. It's going to be Judgment, a Rock move, and a Steel move maybe for Diancie. That could be the set. So Tentacruel kind of walls that set, and I can either Haze it if he rings Calm Mind, I can Toxic it, and then it'll get whittled down, or I could just damage it any other way. It stops a special Victini that doesn't have a Psychic move, though I don't really expect that type of set to come. And that is kind of it for Tentacruel. It's kind of the Tentacruel set. It's pretty standard. Next up, we have Mega Diancie. Mega Diancie is running Calm Mind, Diamond Storm, Moonblast, and Earth Power. 252 special attack, 176 speed with the Hasty Nature, and 80 in HP. This runs house through his team once Mega Aggron is gone. Again, I fully expect that thing to come, so I can't just set up Calm Minds recklessly. I do have to be careful of Arceus Ice being extra faster, because I think Arceus Ice will probably speed creep Mega Diancie, so I can't really like stay in if I'm low on health. And this is my main way of revenging Victini if Greninja's down. So there's that. It also deals with Komodo if it's not Scarf, which I don't expect a Scarf Komodo. That'd be kind of weird. And that's kind of it. And just it does really, really good damage to the rest of his team. Nothing really wants to switch in too much. And, oh, it's my Drampa switching too. Drampa was kind of a problem for my team, switching in on it at least. So Diancie is the only thing that can take both its stabs pretty well. It would have to predict and use like Energy Ball or Surf. So that's Mega Diancie. And lastly, we have Rotom Frost. Rotom Frost is running Thunderbolt, HP Ice, Substitute Pain Split, 216 attack, 44 speed, Calm Nature, and 248 HP with the Electrium Z. Yes, Rotom Frost is my Zmon, so I decided to put Electrium Z on it this week because, again, Milotic was a kind of a problem offensively. Not really defensively because Tentacruel exists, but offensively it was a problem. So Rotom can come in, fire off Electrium Z. It'll do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, I do not have pivoting on this thing. I had 4 moveslot syndrome as I did want Volt Switch on this thing. So I don't have it, which kind of sucks, but it's okay. And it deals with his lower tier threats a little bit well too. Romo and Gligar. I can take a hit pretty well from them, and then I can Pain Split off damage I take. Same with the Florges. I can switch on the Florges, take a Moonblast, and then like Pain Split up health. This will prevent him from wishing up too much. So that is Rotom Frost. And I spoke really, really fast for that team builder, but I talked a lot. We are done through the team builder. That is a team. I'm quite enjoying the team this week, though. I did kind of want to bring Haxorus on the team. I did have a Dragon Dance Haxorus in mind, but alas, that's on the bench now. But that is all I got. We're going to go over the Pokemon Showdown and watch the battle. Alright, we are here in the battle, and the first thing I'm noticing is that he did not bring the Mega Aggron. I was really shocked about that. He brought the Gotharita instead. Mega Diancie is looking like an absolute beast in this game, so I gotta make sure I use that effectively. But I am going to lead off with Greninja, as I can use her about on basically anything, as he does lead off with the Florges. Tentacruel is looking kind of important as well, as it deals with his defensive core pretty well. I just gotta be careful getting trapped by Gotharita. But first turn, I am going to U-turn. Greninja's named Mega Greninja, by the way, because he names his Arceus Mega Silvally, so that's why I did it. And basically, turn 2, I get Diancie for free, and I can Mega Evolve and click Moonblast, and I can scout out for damage on this Florges as he switches in. And it does 28%, so I'm thinking, okay, he's a max HP, max defense set, most likely, as he shows leftovers there. I'm going to call Mind up here. I don't think this thing's going to be able to touch me once I get up to +1, as he just goes for the Wish. So now I can definitely fire off a Moonblast and do a decent chunk to this Florges, or the Milotic that actually does come in. And you're going to see here, guys, it does 54%, so that's 2-shot. And with the Wish, he's not up to full, and he is Flame Orb, so now he's not getting Lefty's recovery. I'm just going to try and get off damage because this Milotic is kind of a problem for my team, as he is going to go for the haze and get rid of my Calm Mind boost, but that's fine. This next Moonblast will definitely knock out this Milotic, as it is. And turn 6, we got one of his biggest defensive threats out of the way, as Milotic was really annoying for my team. Here he goes back into Florges, and I am going to Calm Mind up again because being at +1, it won't do too much to me, unless it is an offensive Florges. It turns out this thing is probably max HP, max attack, even modest nature most likely, because that did a lot of damage for it being +1. As I am going to switch into Rotom Frost to tank the hit, but he just goes up a Wish, which is fine. By the way, I apologize, guys. I don't know about on your guys' screen. It might not even be, so you don't have to worry about that. But my screen is very laggy right now, so if you get a laggy battle, I highly apologize for that. It's just the way the computer works sometimes. But I'm going to go for HP Ice on this Komodo. I outspeed the Komodo of all things, and I do over half. So I'm a little confused because that's a little to no bulk on Komodo, but I'm faster, so he's got no speed, basically. I don't know. I'm a little weirded out by the Komodo set, but I'm going to set up another sub, expecting him to switch out, as he does. He's going to fire off a U-turn with Victini, which is fine. And he goes into RCS Ice, big problem, as I do fire off a Thunderbolt to get some chip on the Victini, but it is chip on the RCS Ice, which is going to come into play a little bit later. I send a Tentacle because it's not as important now that Milotic is gone. It's really here for the Florges, but RCS Ice mainly, as he does show coverage for Volcarona, and even this turn, he shows coverage for Mega Diancie and Tentacruel, as Tentacruel is taken out with Earthquake, and that's big, knowing that he has these two moves, as now Greninja is the only thing that could probably take a hit from this thing. So I am forced to low kick, and it does nothing to Florges as he comes in, so this RCS Ice is going to turn out to be a much bigger problem than I thought it was, even though it was already a pretty big problem to begin with. I'm going to U-turn out on this Florges, as Rotom Frost is the only thing now that can basically take a hit from this thing. That and Volcarona, but I don't want to switch Volcarona in directly. I do get a Spatak drop, which is unfortunate, but I am at really low health now, so I can Pain Split for free, as I get a lot of that back from Florges, as he is just going to throw up a Wish. And now I'm back up to 62, and he's at 58. Here I'm going to set up a sub, expecting him to Moonblast, as he is going to fire off a Moonblast this turn, so that's pretty cool that I got that right. And now I can freely Pain Split again. And if you want to switch in Komodo, I can just HP Ice or sub accordingly. He's going to go to Gothorita though. And I'm going to Pain Split, and I get some health back and take a lot of health from Gothorita. Now, I'm really hoping this thing is not Choice Scarf Trick, but it's not. I go for Thunderbolt, and I paralyze the Gothorita. Now, this sucks. This sucks, I'm not going to lie. So now I can substitute up on this thing, and he gets parried again. Now, that really sucks. So I'm going to fire off a Thunderbolt. It's not doing much because I have -1 in attack from the Moonblast, as he's going to fire off a Side Shock, and it does not break my sub, which is really nice. I can T-Bolt one more time. Unfortunately, this thing is going to get off a rest unless it gets paralyzed a third time, and that is huge, guys, because I can fire off an Electrium Z. I'm surely he wasn't expecting it, and I can knock out this Gothorita. The para basically matters if he either had rest, and if he Side Shocked again and broke my sub, because now I can stay on this Victini, as I can either sub up again, or I kind of forget what I do actually this turn, to be completely honest. I think I sub up again. So yeah, I sub up again, and I can Pain Split. If he didn't get parried, the sub would have been gone, and if he would have gone for rest, I would have been screaming. So that definitely affected the tide of the battle, as I am going to HP Ice on this incoming Victini. He's going to U-turn out, and I believe this turn I go for the Pain Split, as Komodo comes back in, so I'm not going to gain too much from it, but luckily, with this health I gained, I can take another Moonblast. But I'm not going to go through this anymore. I'm just going to go straight into Powdon, expecting him to either go into Victini or Drain Punch, as he does Drain Punch. I am holding the Rocky Helmet, so he's not really going to be gaining anything back. And this is an opportunity to get my rocks up, because RCS Ice is really scary, Victini is really scary, and Florges is the only thing that has Defog. He's shown Wish and Moonblast, so I'm thinking if he's got Defog, it's going to be Defog Protect. So at this point, I can freely basically go into Volcarona and try and get Fiery Dance boosts at this point, since RCS Ice cannot switch in. So he is carrying the Defog, so that's good to know. He's got Wish, Moonblast, Defog, and I'm thinking, alright, Fiery Dance, let's hope I don't get unlucky with these boosts. I am going to get whittled down between Moonblast, Sand, and Life Orb. It does 29%, which is decent. I do take the damage, but this floor just busts out the Hidden Power Rock. That threw me off. I was shook that he had Hidden Power. He has Moonblast, Hidden Power Rock, Defog, Wish. I was not ready for that. I'm just going to fire with Fire Dance because Volcarona is not really useful at this point, as I'm just going to die to Life Orb damage. And he makes a smart play and goes for the Wish. So I only have one play at this point, and it's go to Mega Diancie and click Diamond Storm. And that is the only thing that will knock out the Florges. And I use Diamond Storm, I get a crit, I kill Florges, and I get the +2 defense. Now, crit didn't matter. I'm saying that because he had match special attack, but this +2 defense definitely matters because Valley is not going to be able to knock me out with Earthquake, and I can just knock it out with Diamond Storm. So the defense boost definitely matters because I was able to live that hit. And basically Dynasty can clean up here. I do go for Earth Power and not knock out this Victini because I didn't want to miss a Diamond Storm, and I wasn't sure if it was Scarf up to this point. I obviously outsped right there, so it's not Scarf. So Greninja can basically clean up the game here, but I'm going to go to Hippowdon just to be safe. It's the safer thing to do, knowing that this Komodo is physical at this point. This Komodo does bust out the Clanging Scales, but I do live the hit, and Clanging Scales lowers your defense by 1, so I can just EQ, and the Komodo is going to go down. And this is basically GG, because even if Victini does kill Hippowdon, I can come in with Greninja and kill it. As Victini's going to come in, and Victini mostly has contact moves, as he is just going to fire off a V-Create, knock out my Hippowdon, and Victini goes down, and that is the game. We could have won 4-0 if I clicked Diamond Storm, but, you know. GG to Blind Messiah. I'm sorry for all the hacks. It was not a clean battle whatsoever. Definitely some hacks involved. Again, I don't think the crit on Florges mattered, and even if I didn't get the defense boost, Florges, I would have let Arceus knock out my Diancie, and Greninja basically can knock out everything on his team because Greninja was at full health, and unless Arceus has a move that one-shots Greninja, I can still two-shot it with low kick, and that would be the game. So I'm not sure how much it matters. If Arceus did have a move, then it definitely mattered, and that's very unfortunate, but it's the game we play. But again, GG to Blind Messiah. We are going to move up to a nice 3-1 record. Next week we take on Tony, coach of Double Teamed is his team name. It's interesting to say the least. He's going into that game with a 1-3 record, but he does have an Austrian George type of vibe team. By the way, speaking of that, my Ocean League Finals game went up yesterday. I'm not going to spoil it, but I highly recommend you go check that out. It is the last video uploaded, so make sure to go check that out. That's all I got for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you like Pokemon Draft League content, consider subscribing to the channel. That's all I got for you guys. It is very hot in my room. I'm going to head out of here. Have a fantastic day, YouTube.